In the late 1970s, I was a chaplain at McGill University in Montreal, and just trying to respond to both the faculty's requests and be with students, the residence halls and so forth, and then take care of things back at the center. I was just feeling overwhelmed. Along the lines of, you may have heard the little verse, if you hold your nose to the grindstone rough and hold it down there long enough, you'll soon forget there are such things as brooks that babble and birds that sing. And soon your world will be composed of you, your grindstone, and your ground down nose. That's what I was experiencing. I said, I need some help here. Where can I find some help in recovering a Sabbath spirituality, living with a Sabbath rhythm, so that one day a week I can take a breather and be renewed, regenerated? Well, I decided to begin attending the Shabbat services at the synagogue just 3 blocks down the street. It was marvelous. It was so rich for me. And it really helped me recover in history the 5 stages of the rich development of a Sabbath spirituality. The first, of course, was just cessation from work, as God did in Genesis after 6 days. And the second stage is rest and relaxation. And the third stage in the development of Sabbath spirituality is the gratitude of a people set free from slavery in Egypt, for example. And the fourth stage was communal celebration of being this people set free. And the fifth stage is the Sabbath as a pledge to us of the quality of living that awaits us in eternity. A foretaste. Well, this soon became a pillar of my spiritual life. One of the pillars that hold up my roof. Continues to do so. It became a treasured ascetical practice for me. The root of that Greek word ascetical, ascesis, refers to shaping, sculpting something to make it attractive. And I came to understand that this practice truly is something which wants to help us shape and sculpt our lives into something beautiful for God. So, how then did I begin trying to give expression to this? Well, prayer. Daily, but certainly on the Sabbath, with our community of people, celebrating our liberation. Even from death to the resurrection. That's part of what every Sunday is for Christians. It's a little Easter. And then playing. Well, I think the important thing here is just to really do things on this day that we wouldn't even think of doing in the other days. It might just be going to an art gallery or a concert, exploring a museum, taking a walk in the woods, just allowing ourselves to play in fun, renewed ways. And the third factor here is rest. When's the last time you took a big soak in a jacuzzi, or maybe even a bubble bath, or allowed yourself to take a little nap in the afternoon? And then the fourth expression of living with the Sabbath spirituality, I think, is relations, renewal of relations, the special meal with a friend or with family. So pray, play, rest, renewal of relations. We're very good at half Sabbaths, I think, much better than we are at whole Sabbaths. Like we'll go to church and then we will go back to work, to clean the garage, to do the garden work, to go shopping, to fill up the cupboards for the week ahead. Or we will go to the stadium, but we won't go to church. Half Sabbaths. What we're called to is to live a whole Sabbath, with all those factors combined. What are we not to do on a Sabbath? Well, I would say, first of all, work. Secondly, commerce. Example, no shopping. And third, no worry. Okay, so this definitely is a day we don't want to be filling out our tax forms or be paying our bills or constructing our to-do list for the coming week. Just keep the day free from work, commerce, and worry. 6 days of the week, we're basically living with 3 verbs in ascendance. Wanting, having, doing. Sabbath is a day for a 4th verb, being. Wonderful story that Heschel shares with us in his book, The Sabbath, where God says to the people of Israel, here is the Torah. If you keep this, I will give you something very special in my possession that you will love. And they said, well, what is this that you have? God says, eternity. And the people say to God, well, can you give us something which will give us a little taste of what eternity is like? And God's response is, yes, I give you the Sabbath. Isn't that beautiful? That Sabbath and eternity are of the same essence. Well, we can talk more about some of these things at my discussion table. Plus, I have a little book on the table downstairs, Disciplines for Christian Living, Interfaith Perspectives, with a full chapter in it on living with the Sabbath rhythm. Just in closing, I want to say that I think Sabbath is meant to be the poetry for us in the prose of the week. And speaking of poetry, let me just pull a little poem out of my pocket here that I wrote on one of my own Sabbath days. Just underlining how the Sabbath and eternity are of the same essence. Blessed be you who gives us every 1 in 7 a little taste of heaven. Blessed be you who calls us to poetry, play, and laughter throughout the day. Blessed be you who teach us how to pray and hold our fears at bay. Blessed be you who call us all together to hallow time in every weather. Blessed be you who gives us every 1 in 7 a little taste of heaven.